Hey YouTubers, Zabernack here, playing some more Planet Coaster. I'm back for episode 5 of Doragon Mountain. So in this episode we start work on some of the surroundings, so all of the foliage and stuff like that around this building. As well as actually building this building's, I think, gazebo is what we're doing in this one. So first off, I started by coming back to the main structure and getting rid of some of the roof elements. So this is no longer a piece by piece or cookie cutter structure. So this building is pretty much where it's going to be for the rest of the game, unless I decide to completely delete it, which would take forever. So anyways, I came back to it, and I fixed up some spots where you could just see under the roof, because from down underneath on the kind of general entrance to the park, you could still see up underneath of this just because of the angle. So I just went around and I was fixing some of that up, and that's one thing you also have to do sometimes too in this game, which I find is definitely go back and just look at certain places throughout your park and see if you can see anything that kind of stands out or something that isn't too sightly. And sometimes have to fix it. So once I was done with that, I started actually moving on to building the outside patio area for this building. So I first started off with just some general patio-like structures, so fencing and flowers and stuff like that, just to give it a nice exterior as well. So I also wanted to incorporate lighting outside of this building so that you could see it easier at night, as well as giving it a feel of just of a homey kind of feel. So this is one thing I was talking about before in one of my earlier videos, where I actually create my own trees. And it's actually rather easy to do this, and it comes out extremely well, as you'll see here. So what you do is you build out the land using the 1-meter brush, and then add on branches, and then all you have to do is paint the tree and then fill it in. And just like that, it becomes a custom tree, and it works. It seems to work better for this kind of style of trees, so the cedars that you see, almost like... oh, I forget the name of them now. Bonsai trees. That's it. Bonsai trees. It looks like a giant bonsai tree, and I thought it'd be a really nice addition. It's something that I can use in this park that fits the feel and theme very well. So I just came around here and put in a simple wooden staircase, because I originally thought I was just going to do stone all the way down, but that was just going to be a pain. It seems to be that way with stone, I find, a lot of the time. If you want to make something out of stone, it's either easier just to use it with the or make it with the landscape and then color it to make it look like stone, or if it's only on flat ground. Other than that, stone tends to be a little bit cumbersome and rather annoying. So we come over here, and I just started adding in some greenery, and as much as it definitely adds to it, it also kind of subtracts from it, because the custom tree that I did is kind of lost in the other trees that are obviously in the game. So I also came over here, and I was experimenting with another kind of a darker green tree, and I think I actually come back and I just take that out. It didn't fit. The color palette was too different. It was too dark. And I think I actually show that here in just a second when I zoom out. I look down from it, and yeah, just right there. And I just decide that it just isn't working, so take it out and try again. So this is where I begin to actually work on the gazebo, and this is by far one of my favorite elements of the park, and it probably will be one of my favorite through the whole entire series. And that is just this quaint little gazebo that is definitely reminiscent of Japanese culture, but it works well, I think, with almost any kind of style. So I came around here and just laid out a circular base with some of the base pieces, and like I said before in my other video, I learned not to build it as modular pieces and then stick it all together in the end. I kept it as one piece. The only thing that is two pieces on this were those poles that you just saw, and that's just to give it its octagonal shape, I think. I think it's octagonal. I'm not quite sure. But aside from that, it actually turned out really well. Just for the shape-wise and its size. It was a little bit bigger than I think I wanted it to be, but it does work for the space that we have. So here you can see that I'm just putting in some guardrails, and I was also thinking of making it so that this is almost a tourist spot, but not necessarily one that tourists actually go to in the game. So what I was thinking for this area up here would be the wedding spot, because who wouldn't want a wedding in a theme park? I know I would. That'd be freaking awesome. I would totally do that. Have the wedding, wife be in the dress kind of deal, and then after that we strip down, get dressed into regular clothes, and go ride some coasters. That would be an awesome wedding. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe you're more traditional than that. Maybe you're not. Maybe you think the same thing. Let me know. But on the building aspect of this, I decided that it would be easier to build, obviously, a corner of this and then build or cookie cut the rest of the roof pieces from this piece. So I experimented with a lot of designs, and this one, it worked, but I actually came back and modified it, I think halfway through, because I actually kind of screwed up on its alignment, and one side would have been bigger than the other, and it would have looked kind of off. So I think it's actually this piece, the first one that I do. This one is the one that I come back to and completely erase and do again. But that only took me like a few minutes, so I just kind of left it in. But this is one thing that I really want to encourage you guys to do, is build chunks that are easily reproducible and something that's not too hard. Now with this, I won't say that it was an easy roof to build, because getting all of the roof pieces to line up in that perfect kind of triangular shape was definitely not easy, and to get them all sloping at the same slope as well was, again, not easy, but it certainly wasn't one of the hardest things I've ever done in this game either. So with that being said, though, I again also wanted to keep with the same palette, and I think I actually saved myself a bit of headache by using these wooden planks for the roof pieces, because it is such a versatile piece in this game that you can use it on a multitude of different things, and because the general palette of these Japanese buildings are using this piece of wood, you will see me use it a lot throughout some of these buildings. And here you can see me going back and just removing that because it didn't line up properly. And just filling in some stuff. And again, I tried to keep this as easy as I could. Now, one thing that I was thinking about once I actually got to the end of this build was actually almost making it look like there were shingles. And that could probably easily be achieved by just overlapping a lot of these wooden pieces, one over top of one another, just to give that raised effect, because they do have those kind of wooden shingle look if you were to layer them over top of one another. Now, I don't think that would have worked as well for the Japanese style build. That's why I kept them relatively flat. But I think if you're doing something along the lines of like a beach theme or a tiki theme or something like that, it would prove to be an extremely convincing either thatch or a wooden roof. So here you can see I made my life so much easier. That only took me like 2 minutes to do, aside from the original building that's over there, which took me a few hours to do, and that roof was nice and simple. So here I am. I thought I'd add some decoration to this, and I also wanted to add in white. I noticed that there's a lot of white kind of marble details. I was about to say decals. That's on cars. Details on a lot of the buildings that you see in Japanese culture and architecture. And I went around, and again, I used the same method of building one corner first and then just copy-pasting it over to the rest. And this is something I can't, excuse me, I can't stress enough with this game, is make it easy on yourself. Reduce the amount of polys you need to place, reduce the time you need to actually play the game. If you can do that, you can build some extremely elaborate parks in a very short amount of time. And I'm sure a lot of other YouTubers that play this as well, this game, they can agree in that if you build things easy and you make it easy for yourself, you're going to have a much more enjoyable experience. And in our case, it's also a lot easier to record and edit. I didn't have to edit this video at all. I kept it quick and simple to the point. Now, this is one thing that I've noticed, is that these wooden pieces that skeleton was on, they would make an awesome roof piece. I didn't use them for a roof piece here, but I might in the future for other pieces of the park. Possibly, but not hinting at, the Western theme, which, yes, I will probably be doing. That'll actually be off to the right of this Japanese theme. Japanese will be in the center, and I think, actually, I'll see if I can find my book here. I believe I had... too late, I can't find my book. Doesn't matter. Anyways, I believe I had a kids zone, a kids world, kids world, action zone, jungle theme, Japanese theme. I can't wait until they come out with water parks, so I did incorporate that. They're going to have water rides and stuff like that. And I believe I also had the Wild West theme. So you'll probably see me building those throughout the time-lapse of this park. And it will undoubtedly be an interesting park to build because there's so many different things. The kids zone and the action, kids world and the action zone will definitely be a much easier part of the park to produce because it's not so heavily themed around a certain kind of geography or, again, theme. It's more or less just, here's the rides, let's suit them to the age group. But here you can see, this is my first attempt at a cherry blossom tree, and oh my goodness, it turned out extremely well, in my opinion, for what we have in the game. So I used the same method I used before for the other tree, where I built the tree trunk using the terrain editor, and I used the branches in order to branch out and provide a spot to place the leaves on. And so once I did that, I was trying to find a suitable leaf color or blossom color for these trees, and the only thing I could find was that purple bush. Now, it's a little bit darker than I would have liked, and a lot darker than what you traditionally see on cherry blossom trees. They're more of a pink kind of purple color, and this is more of a deep purple. It still serves the purpose quite well. So as you can see here, I'm just sprucing up the surrounding area with just different kinds of foliage and that kind of stuff, and here I am adding a bench in. One of my custom benches that I've done. Still extremely happy with those things. They turned out super, super good. And again, like I said before too, I also want to keep the amount of flowers down on top of this mountain. A lot of greenery, a lot of stuff that is very low maintenance, because the workers that have to water it all probably aren't going to want to come up here. It makes the park maintenance a lot easier. So again, a lot of bushes, trees, rocks, that kind of stuff. The only kind of color that you see is from those white flowers, and those could probably be, you know, in real life they'd be perennials or annuals or whatever they are that bloom every year kind of thing. But that just about brings the time lapse for the gazebo build and foliage to a close. So I've just got a time lapse here of fast forwarding to night so you guys can see the lights, and it looks amazing at night. And I think you'll agree that this is definitely one of my best builds to date so far, and I hope to get the rest of the mountain looking just as good, if not better, and learning from what I'm doing right now. And what a beautiful sunset that is. So I think this is a pretty good note to leave off on for episode 5. And that's been a Let's Play Planet Coaster with Zabernack. Zabernack out.